to this computer. All right. So this is the PSD that you can download. It's from boardgamesmaker.com. So this is actually what you would use if you were designing and sending a playing card to company. It's the same size. It talks about the safe area. So if I have text or other important parts of the design, they need to be inside the red dots. The cut line or cut area. So what happens is they use a thing called a die cut, and the die cut cuts very specifically to this shape. Think about it like if you bought business cards in one of those things at Walmart and you could run them through your printer and then you pop them out. Same kind of idea. It's just those are perforated die cuts and not actual solid die cuts. I remember my first experience with a die cutter was when I started teaching at elementary school. They had die cutters, and it's what the teachers used to make their bulletin boards. And so there's all these like little things you could stick in there and press it down, and these blades would come out and cut out the shapes. It's really cool. The bleed line. So the red line is the safe. So any text, you think about text, important elements, they're going to be inside the red line, the safe area. The cut area, cut line, is where it's going to be cut off. So if I want an image that runs all the way to the edge and goes off, so my card doesn't have a white edge, the image would bleed right off the side of the thing. Well, that's called a bleed line. And so anything that extends past the black is going to be cut off. So you don't want anything from the red to outside of the black. That is important, because if the card shifts a little bit, that's why you have the safe area, because it makes a safe zone for people to work in. So what I do is it says add your own design. Hey, Dr. Frobisher. So I'm gonna go over here. I'm gonna be brave. I'm gonna open my photos. I don't know what I've been. Oh, okay. So yeah, that's not too bad. Photos. So let's go here. Let's go to images. iCloud. Gaming images. Gaming stuff. You would think I'd be able to find this stuff a lot faster. Gaming images. All right. So fantasy. Here. All right. So I've got this. This is it's an Eye of the Deep. It's a type of ball. What else? I got some scary looking stuff. Okay. It's got a Bjorn stuff. Bjorn stuff's kind of rough. I like that one. All right. So these are a couple images. So let's say this is going to be my card. So I'm going to copy this. I'm going to go back to my playing card. I'm going to start a new layer. I'm going to say paste. All right, so it's bigger than the card itself. So I can say edit, transform, scale. Now, I don't need it to be the size of the blue. I just need it to be bigger than the cut line. Now, I like to take the hidden layer stuff and move it to the top. That gives me an idea of how big this is going to be. I can always close the eye. I don't really want to work with it at the moment. Edit, transform, scale. Bring this down a little bit. All right, so it's still not quite where I want it to be. Edit, transform, scale. All right. So now, if I send this card to be printed, it's going to be cut. So the image is going to run right up to the edge of the card because it goes outside of the black line. Okay. Now the blue, this blue is actually opaque, so I can actually shrink it down or change the opacity. So you can see my image is popping out all the way around. Now, let's say I don't want my image to be cropped like that. Let's say I want my image to be in the safe area and I want to make a border of some sort. So if I wanted to make a border of some sort, I could come in here and let's say, take this and I'll fill in the back of the card, this space with, oh yeah, okay. The one by itself. Yeah. So I'm gonna fill this with a color. Let's go with like a dark red. So I'm gonna fill with the color. Now again, I can move this up and I can see that my red goes outside of the border. So the card's gonna have a red line right up to the edges. Now let's say I want my image to be within the safe area. I can, remember we talked about creating mats. I can measure this out to the safe area. And I'm doing this by hand because, you know, it's my cards. And I can create a mask there. So if I move this up, you will now see that my card has a red border all the way around it. And it's masked inside the image. So when you're holding this card, you would see that, but it would be cut right up to the edge. So it would have those nice rounded edges. So the goal there now, how I would do it, because I'm like that. So I'm gonna go up here. I'm going to select the black. I'm going to copy. Now I'm going to do something called paste in place. So if you go to image, paste, and then you go to paste special. If I go to paste in place, what it does is it pastes it in exactly the same spot that I've copied it from. So bam, but it's on its own layer. So this is here now. Now what I want with this is I want that curved edge. So I'm going to go to this layer and I'm going to say edit, transform, scale. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pull it into that, pull it into there, pull it into here, and pull it in here. Now there's ways to make it have curved edges up here. You can set it to have a curve or whatever, but this allows it to copy the exact curve of the card and everything else. And it's on the, and I'm setting it to the safe area. So if you turn this off, you can still see the little dots. Move that up. You can still see the dots. So this one is now measured down to the safe area. And it's not quite there, so I might want to do a little bit. Oh, wait. I'll make sure I'm on the right layer. Always, 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 always. It's what I screw up the most. So I'll bring that down. All right, so it's looking pretty tight. You know, I'm trying to get it as tight as I can. Now, rather than using this mask, I'm gonna see the little chain between them. I'm gonna cut that off, and then I'm going to grab that mask and I'm gonna throw it away. And then say, delete it. All right, if I applied it, then it would cut the image out. So now, let's say that's gonna be the background of my card. I want that to go all the way out to the edges. So I'm gonna cut that off, but I'm gonna come in here and I'm gonna clean this up real fast because it's just gonna create more problems if I don't. Oops, wrong thing. Again, layers, always make sure you're on the right layers. And then, but now if I select it, what's gonna happen is it's gonna select the inside and the outside. And the reason it's doing that is because there's a hole right there. So I'm gonna deselect it. I'm gonna zoom in on that. I'm gonna find that imperfection. And then I'm gonna go up here. I'm going to go here, and then I'm gonna grab my move tool. I'm gonna hold down the option key on the Mac, something else on the PC. Hold it and shift, and I pull it down, and it duplicates it, but it doesn't create a new layer. So now I've got that. Now what's going to happen is, I'm making that harder than it needs to be. When I use my magic wand, it will select the inside of that shape. Now let's say I want to bring my monster over. Where's he go? Oh, he was up here. There he is. All right. We'll say select all, edit, copy, come back over. Now I got my monster. And then I'm going to say paste. And this time I'm going to say paste special. And I'm going to, rather than use paste in place, I'm going to use paste into. So I have this selected area, and what this is going to do is it's going to make a mask, so I don't have to go through that whole step. I can just paste them in. Now they're not connected yet. I can connect them if I want, but in this case I need to shrink him because he's too big. But I don't want to shrink the mask, so I'm not going to connect them. If I connect them and I shrink it, it's going to shrink both of them. If I disconnect it and I say edit, transform scale, you'll see the mask stays exactly where it's at. It's unaffected by all the stuff I'm doing. And I can say, all right, there we go. All right. So now I've got that guy. And so if I do away with this, you'll see that there's no black edge around it. Now, if I wanted to, I could go up here. If I wanted to put a black edge, I would do it using a stroke on the monster himself, because then I can control the thickness a little bit better and be okay. Boom. Now, if I want to see where the edge of the card is, I can go here. And you can see where the image kind of bleeds up to the edge. Any questions so far? I know I'm going pretty fast, but we've done a couple of this stuff before, so. Nope. Okay, well, I'm going to stop the recording there for a second.